To start off, we're gonna need a pasture block, some fences, fence gates, and then let's place down the fences to make a nice boxed out area. And also place down the fence gates for easy access, and in the end place down the pasture block. Now on to what can breed with what. For example, a Ditto can breed with any gender. However, other Pokemon can only breed with the opposite gender, so you can't breed male and male or female and female. It always has to be female and male, or Ditto with either female or male. Now let's move on to IV training. For this we're going to need a Destiny Knot. We want to select the Pokemon that has the best IVs. For example, what I recommend is getting a Ditto with some insane IVs. Here for example you can see I have a Ditto with pretty much maxed out IVs. So I'm going to throw him out and equip his changed item by shift right clicking him and giving the Destiny Knot to him. If you don't give one of the two Pokemon a Destiny Knot, then only 3 IVs will be transferred and not 5. Now we're gonna breed the Ditto with this Phanpy, which you can see has very bad IVs. Since we're using the Destiny Knot, we're going to inherit 5 random IVs from our 2 Pokemon. But first we need to put them in the PC. And then let's put them into the pasture block. Now after a while an egg will pop out and now we just wait for the egg to hatch. Now we can see that the little baby Phanpy has came out, and now let's capture it using a Pokeball. In this case I'm using a Master Ball. Once captured, if we check its IVs, we can see that it inherited 5 random IVs from both of our Pokemon. In this case, it inherited Speed Attack from the Ditto, and Speed Def, and Attack from the Phanpy. And we managed to luck out on HP. So realistically what you want to do is you want to breed 2 Pokemon with perfect IVs to get the best result. Now, for example, if you want to force one of the IVs to be inherited no matter what, you can equip one of these power items onto the Pokemon of your choice. For example, if I throw out this Phanpy and I say that I want to inherit its attack IVs, I can equip it with the Power Bracer. Now here's 2 ways to increase your shiny chance when breeding. First, if you have a friend, tell him to deposit one of the Pokemon that you're going to be using for breeding. For example, here we can see the Ditto is not mine. Then just put your Pokemon in, and that increases the shiny chance of the Pokemon coming out of the egg from 1 in 4096 to 1 in 683. The second way is by giving one of your Pokemon a link cable. This also increases your shiny chance from 1 in 4096 to 1 in 683. Please note these 2 methods don't stack, so you can only do one. Now let's move on to how to transfer natures during breeding. For this we're going to need an Everstone. Now let's say we want to transfer this Jolly nature onto our offspring. We basically want to equip the Everstone onto this Phanpy. Then deposit both of the Pokemon we're going to be using for breeding into the PC and put them in the pasture block. Now we wait for the egg to pop out and hatch, and then simply capture the Pokemon. In this case I'm using a Master Ball. Once the Pokemon is captured, if we check its nature, we can see that it inherited the Jolly nature. Now some moves can only be learned from breeding. For example, this Smoochum's roleplay move can only be gained by breeding a Jinx with an Alakazam. Make sure that they're both different genders, and one of the parents must know the move that you're trying to transfer. Now let's put them in the PC and enter the pasture block. Once we see that an egg is found, we wait for it to hatch and then capture the Pokemon, in this case with a Master Ball. And if we check its moves, we can see that it inherited the roleplay move. Now if you want to automatically collect the eggs in item form, these are the items we're going to need. Now place down a double chest. Go into the middle of the fenced out area and place down a block breaker. And make sure to power it as well. In this case, we're using a creative energy cell. Now connect up some pipes to the original chest that we placed and to a new chest that we're placing an item collector on top of, and make sure to increase the item collector's range to maximum. Wrench the pipe and give it an ultimate upgrade, and cover the area back up to hide the pipes. Now increase the block breaker's area so it covers the entire pasture setup excluding the fences. Then place the pickaxe into the block breaker. Now if we go breed 2 Pokemon, we will see that the egg will automatically be broken and deposited into the chest.